Well, hello, this is a songwriting journey with Old Wooley, and today I'd like to talk about your crap songs. Okay, it's just a basic part of mathematics that half of your songs are in the bottom half of your songs. The real question, I guess, is figuring out why they are and what to do about them. All right. Now, some people say that only the top third of songs you should play, and that's probably a good adage. I say top half to begin with, and we've got to really choose what you're going to work on because you don't have infinite time. You're probably still going to come up with ideas and try new songs, but if they're not that good, then you should probably move on. So I'm going to go through my process, what I do, and how I do it, and then essentially, hopefully you'll have another go at it. And I'll give you a list of the songs I'll probably be working on shortly. Now, first things first, we're starting with the purposes. Especially if you're starting a songwriter, you need to know how many songs you need. All right, so just say you've got 6 songs and you're going to an open mic. You don't have to play a full 15 minutes or whatever the length is. You don't have to use the whole thing, but if you do, you can still present a song that's not the best. All right, you could, if you get 3 short songs in, you can get a 4th in, and I usually put my worst of those second last, and then depending on whether you're right for your timing. When it comes to deciding what songs you're going to practice, rehearse, or track, arrange, or present as a final product, you really can only do it with the best songs. And I would call those A-grade songs. I've made a giant list of all my songs at the moment, and you might be able to see it. Down the side, I've given a grade. Some of them get a minus for whatever reason. That's something I don't want to play anymore. They all have their reasons. This one is a duet, so I can't play it. And they're basic A, B, C, D. C and D are just not presentable. You might have an A plus or a B minus or something like that. My cutoff is B. Maybe it should be an A song. Maybe I should only do my A and A plus songs. This is a matter of choice, but realistically, I'll probably change that later when I've got so many A songs that I won't have any room for B songs. We'll just see how that goes in the long run. And you've just got to keep on rolling on, presenting a product that's relevant and polished. So you can't just have unfinished songs in your set. All right, how do I choose what was an A song, a B song, a C song, a D song? Well, you can just use your own judgment if you want. But my problem is most people don't have that editing eye, and I don't have a perfect vision on that. I can have tunnel vision. I can be enamored with the concept, which isn't necessarily very interesting to other people. It might be persevering on a point. I might have banged out a joke too much and not realise it. So I use someone I trust who has not exactly the same taste as me, but has an understanding of music, who has strong opinions, and I trust those opinions, and I like their music that they like. I think that's really important. You've got to like the music that the person who's critiquing you likes, because they're going to take their own. They're going to take their own lens to it. So if you realise they're trying to fit it to what they like, right, like a concept to what they like, then you can trust their judgment. Now, the thing about having someone who's musical doesn't necessarily mean they're trained. They could be someone who sings along in a shower. They could be someone who loves to listen to music. They could be an enthusiastic amateur. They could be someone who's highly trained. But make sure it's someone that you can take critique from. And I wouldn't do it for your first 2 or 3 songs. You just got to get a few before they can say, well, these are the better ones, because they can't say, oh, they're all crap. They'll have to say which ones are the best ones from that one. And you have to understand what you're looking for is to put some in the top half or top third to choose from them. So they have to give you a preference. They have to give you an opinion. So it doesn't initially have to be, if something's an A grade to them, that doesn't need explanation. B sometimes you might want to come back and say, oh, so what makes this one a B instead of an A, and this one a C instead of an A, or what makes this one a clear loser, and that's a really useful, and I write that down instantly, and you might see that here. I had a disagreement with my wife, who I trust. I reckon this is an A, and she reckons it's C plus. And the reason is, she says the start of the verse melody is the same as the start of the chorus melody. And personally, I don't think that's a problem. I like it. I think it's interesting. But she gets bored of it quickly. Eventually, we had a chat. She says it's because it comes through so many times, and I've made it so that I've taken out a number of the choruses and it's less repetitive, and she's happy with that. So it's kind of graduated to the A for that point of view. And then, so my final list of songs that I determine are playable, or at least work on, possibly too many on that list, but there's a mix of A's and B's. But I've got those written down. Later on, if I need to revise, I'll do another of these A-B lists. In fact, I have a previous one here. It's a bit messier, and some of them have gone up, some of them have gone down, depending on how they're played. So about a revision process every time you want to kind of curtail the workload. Or once you've written it, every 5 songs you can do a reshuffle and see what's going on. You can, I've spent 4 weeks writing songs. I need to see which ones are actually worth working on. Okay, so what do we do with the rest of them? That's a really important question, because first things first is just decide if something's salvageable. If this is not worth working on. I ever seen a song like that, I was like, oh, it's just so close to just chucking right out. And I sometimes wonder whether or not it's actually worth doing that. That song, the one that I think is almost worth chucking out, I'm going to bring to the songwriters group. I'm going to get a good critique from them, and I'm going to see if there's anything left in it. If they can come up with an idea, or if people like it at all, I might keep it around. Otherwise, I've got a couple of concepts from it, and I can just rip it to pieces, and they can go into other songs. The other ones here, one of the critiques I have here. The chorus melody for Wine, Wine, Wine just doesn't work right. There's one idea that comes out of it, and really needs a lot of fiddling and mucking around for it. So I've written that as it's one of the things to work on. Wine, 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 chorus melody. So I Won't Look Back, melodic variation. Old Apple Tree, verse melody, it's clumsy. Lying to Myself, it's a bit samey and boring, says my wife, which is a bit distressing because it's a very deeply moving song from the lyrical point of view. But if it doesn't work, it's got to go on the drawing board. Spring Again doesn't have the movement of feeling that the song should be having through each of the changes, the verses. There should be a change to feeling of the chorus. So I'm going to try and change the chorus melody at the end of the chorus to reflect it, to make it a little bit more major. It's going to be hard to do. I'll have to do it with a piano, I reckon. That's probably the easiest way to do it. So this is the way, I've got a list. This goes in with my songwriting notes. It's loose, so I can have it separate, so I can take it to any page in here. And yeah, essentially that's my process of limiting what I have to practice. Still an unfeasibly long number of songs, but from that I can build straight away. I can build right back to my my set list, something here, right next to this one, and that tells me what are the songs that I'm going to be rehearsing for stage, and it might even inform a subset of those for an open mic. All right, so that's really where I'm heading with that sort of stuff. Decide that half your songs are going to be crap. Maybe even a third of them are going to be good, right? If you're lucky, and then put a line under them. Even go, top, list of this. I've got 7 songs. I've got to choose the top 3 or top 4. Give yourself a chance to move forward and put those other ones down the bottom. When you don't have a new idea, you can rework those ones. All right. So, if you enjoyed that, you can like it, subscribe if you can, write some comments, or maybe give some opinions on percentages for your songs. How many of them you reckon are actually worth playing? Go to the song list that I've got and have a listen and tell me which ones you do think are worth listening to. Give them an A, B, C, or D. D being pretty low for me. I don't do Fs, and I won't put them up. Just have some fun songwriting. I'll see you later. Bye.